Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
I went online to become a private detective. It was a private detective school online, and I paid online. And I never heard from them again. I thought to myself, I either got ripped off, or this is my first case. This is a journalistic podcast, Shannon. We vaccinate our listeners with answers. And I'm going to keep lip-syncing the important questions until TikTok gives me a show. Shannon, how can the moon landing be real if the moon itself is fake?
That's not true, Mike.
Oh, isn't it true, Shannon? You're fake. You're a hologram.
1 in 5 New Yorkers are food insecure. What's your solution for that, Mike?
Fortune cookie. Because that's food and advice at the same time. Shannon, at least have the decency to backstab me, okay? You stab me in the front every time. Some fans can't watch the podcast because they're triggered by our sexuality. And message to those fans, we will leak a sex tape right into your mouth.
This is Mike Vecchione Investigates.
And you're not better than me. Welcome to Mike Vecchione Investigates, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode. I'm doing via satellite. I have to hit the road to get the hardest hitting news stories out there, guys. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm on the road, undisclosed location. I can't mention it. Okay, it puts my investigations at risk. But joining me, let me get him involved right away. His time is precious, and I know that. Hilarious comedian, fellow investigator, Dave Landau is here via satellite. Hi, Dave. How are you?
I'm great. I'm good. How's Austin?
You let the cat... I'm not in... Damn it, Dave.
I'm sorry. Right.
Does it say Austin in the background?
It does, yeah. I didn't mean to...
Well,
I forgot that we can't say where you're at. They can cut this out,
I was
right?
going to do a where in the world is. But this is good for a where in the world is for lower income whites. Because the answer is, they need help with the answers. We don't want to frustrate them. So, the clue in the background is maybe they solved it before you could get to it.
I just thought I was smart because I was able to catch it.
You put it together real good, Dave, and that's why we have you on the show. Top-notch investigation within the first 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm proud of you. That's why they call me Pretty Good. That's my middle name.
I prefer a Catholic middle name, me personally, but Pretty Good. Pretty Good's a nice street nickname.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Which is the same as Pretty Good.
That is... Not bad is the same as pretty good, and pretty good is we like to go more positive on this podcast, David.
I appreciate you having me.
Can I call you David? If things get serious?
Yeah, you can call me David or Dave. Dave's fine too.
How about if you hit one out of the park like you just did, can I refer to you as the star of David? Would that be okay, or does that go against your alt-right white supremacist?
Yes, I don't want anything mentioning the Star of David, even though it is tattooed on me. I prefer to keep that part a secret.
Okay.
Landau may be Hebrew, but I denounce any.
Let's settle on Dave. Let's settle on Dave for functional purposes here, not to confuse our fans.
Can we do Star of Dave? Is it too casual for religious purposes?
I think so.
Okay, that's fine. We can go Dave.
Dave. Okay, thank you for joining us, Dave.
Thank you.
I remember last time we met up, you had a whole bunch of holograms and satanic. We got a lot of write-ins about it. Upside down some things and upside down other things, and you're trying to prove a point that no one's going to tell you who to worship. And it just kind of, I was asking you about it and you were right there answering me. And so how's that going for you? How's the satanic worship these days?
I'm not doing it as much. I'm
No?
not as in. No, I'm not. Not as into the devil anymore. Looked into a little bit into the LaVey Ministries, and it's not so much about what I thought it was about. Doing a little bit of witchcraft, but turns out that's not really. I watched the movie The Craft. I should really just say,
Yeah.
and that's as far as I went into it. Watched it twice. Not, and then I watched the remake of it. I liked the first one better. I kind of wanted to be a goth girl when I was young, but I grew out of it. Thank God I didn't get the surgery. But yeah, I'm just kind of doing me now. I've been doing a lot of fishing. I've been catching sharks. I caught that one behind me. And I'm in Detroit, so that's my view.
There's a lot to unpack there. You know, a lot of people say that you wear your heart on your sleeve, but you actually wear whatever you're into at the moment in your background.
Correct.
Are you tipping the fans off? Is that on purpose? You seem like a calculated guy. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way.
No, I just want people to know I watched Major League this afternoon, and to let other people just know that I like to hunt sharks and live in Detroit. So I just thought I'd decorate.
You hunt sharks and live in Detroit.
Yeah, there's not a lot of sharks here. So
Right.
you just have to, what you do is you get a homeless guy and you wine him, not make him wine him and dine him.
Housing challenged?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. Yes. You find someone who is unhoused or housing challenged.
Temporarily unhoused?
Temporarily unhoused. And you bring them into your house where you give them food and make them wear a shark's head. And then after dinner, you and a group of friends hunt them on RVs.
That spiraled out of control fast, Dave.
But then you keep the
Spiraled
head.
fast. I thought you were going somewhere else with it, but you did a most dangerous game thing at the end there. I think it threw me and most of our fans.
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that one, but what we call it is shark hunt.
Shark hunt.
Yeah. It's like Shark Tank, except we hunt and kill a homeless guy wearing a shark mask.
Okay.
I'm sorry, unhoused.
Unhoused. Please, let's keep it Christian.
I'm sorry. Yes, unhoused. You don't even have to pay them. And if you do, you can just take the money back once you get them.
Dave, this really went somewhere where I didn't think it was going to go, but that's the risk of having you on this podcast. I don't know where things are going to go. They spiral quickly. I didn't expect you to show up with sharks and is this a pescatarian lifestyle that you're trying to force on my low income fans, or is it what is it that you're trying to is it because of Lent, which is a thing for Catholics? I know you probably don't acknowledge it as a Satan guy, but for Catholics, Lent is a big thing leading up to Easter, the resurrection.
Well, yeah, I am Catholic. I think I've said that before. So Satan is a part of that. It's a yin and a yang. I do give up chocolate for the devil for 40 days and 40 nights.
You gave up chocolate.
I gave up chocolate.
So you're a Catholic who you're a satanic. Walk me through this. I'm sorry. You're confusing me and most of the fans.
I'm sure.
You're a satanic guy who identifies as a Catholic. Can you please?
Yeah.
We want a little clarity.
Okay. My last name is Landau, which is not actually Irish, even though I am an Irish Italian. Mm-hmm. I was who my dad was raised by, so I am actually Catholic. But I became a Satanist when I bought Halloween costumes at Target, and I realized I was really into it. That was the last time I was on the show. I bought a skull that glowed and a Ouija board.
We all remember.
Yeah.
Remember it well.
Yeah. So I was like, this is kind of my jam. So that's when I began to realize, I like the devil.
Right.
And since then, I've been hunting homeless people. I'm sorry, unhoused people. But I'm also Catholic, so it's part of my upbringing, and I want to still respect that. So I want to, give a little bit to the Catholics, the Catholicism in me. And
are you
also,
saying? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. No, I don't want to throw you off.
I just think that it's awkward for me to understand this, that Catholicism introduced you to the devil.
Yeah.
It introduced you to the devil, and that actually stuck and resonated for you. And you, at risk of sounding like the TV show Broke Bad, you never would have found out about the devil if it wasn't for Catholicism introducing the devil to you as a deterrent. And then you were like, well, this guy seems pretty great. Everything's upside down. Everything's backwards, and it's like you kind of like made it your own then. But if it was, is Catholicism a gateway to satanic worship?
Yes. I think we both know that.
We both know it. I just discovered it.
I think it's when it starts, you hear about it. Like later in life, if you hear about the devil, it's just some silly stuff. It's just decorations, But when you're young and you hear about the devil, it's like, oh, you're going to go to hell. And then you go to Target and you see like the masks and the costumes and all the fun. And you're like, well, so hell's like kind of fun.
Right.
And that's when you're like, I'm going to go on his team of the fallen angels.
Halloween convinced you that the devil was good because you associated going door to door. Is that why you're giving up chocolate, Dave?
Yes, because I love trick or treating and I have type 2 diabetes.
Type 2.
Yeah, type 2. It means it's my fault. That's what the doctor said. Well, he yelled at me.
These doctors.
He said that I may lose my toes, but that they can be used as penises for transitioning kids.
Toes used as penises, Dave.
Yeah.
We're moving fast here on this. I don't think that our fans can keep up with it. The shark in the background, the shark in the hat. It's like, it's fascinating to me. It's fascinating that you moved from the devil to sharks.
Yes.
And it's just like, you're just a themed guy, man. I feel like you lock on to something and it's all about that one thing. And you just kind of shut everything else out. Now you're into sharks.
Yeah, it's for like a day. I'll do it for like a whole day, maybe a week.
Right.
My therapist calls it not knowing who I am.
Right.
It's stuck in childhood, something like that.
But is that a satanic? Do what thou wilt. That's a satanic. That's the phrase of the Satanist. Do what thou wilt.
I believe that is correct. I don't really know, but I believe that is correct. Sounds right.
I'm telling you what it is. Do you trust me?
I do trust you. You're an excellent reporter.
Well, I have to get to the bottom of some of this stuff because you are a conundrum, which is a word that we should look up, Shannon, because our fans are confused right now. Conundrum. It's a conundrum. And I think I used it the right way. What is it, Shannon? A conundrum? A confusing and difficult problem or question. Nailed it. Nailed it.
Yeah, I think you hit it out of the park there.
I think I hit it out of the park.
I think you should be wearing the baseball hat. Cap.
Let me explain it to our fans because that one almost went over my head, which is another baseball reference. Dave said I should be wearing the cap because I hit it out of the park. It's a baseball reference, somebody hitting a home run with something that I said. I'm trying to get it to track for the fans, Dave. They're not the brightest. You've been on the show before. We have to break things down for them. You're very fast, and I don't want to lose these fans.
I understand. I'll slow it down.
They've got nowhere else to go. It's like Richard Gere and A Few Good Men. They got nowhere else to go crying in the rain.
I don't think that's the right movie.
Oh, an officer and a gentleman.
An officer and a gentleman, yes.
And you know what, Dave? I think you knew it before I did. But like a good friend and teacher, you let me come to the conclusion instead of just answering it.
Well, I'm a big Louis Gossett Jr. fan.
Yeah.
So that and, Enemy Mine, just stuff I do.
Do you love being screamed at?
Yeah. Well,
does it motivate you, Dave?
If it's by a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
Or someone acting like a drill sergeant.
Yeah, that's important. That's very important. Is that how you
or by mother?
Was your mother a yeller?
Oh, yes, still is.
Do you call her, because she's older now, old yeller?
Yes.
No,
Well, she died, but I still hear her.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
she died a while ago. Long time. 8, 10 years, something.
Do you think that in the future that there'll be you'll go visit your relatives who've passed away, and on their stones, their gravestones, will be their social media page, and we will have hired somebody in advance to keep commenting on stuff so it's like they're talking to you? Because I just, you know what, I just don't like the fact when I go to see my father who's passed on, it's just like I'm praying to him, I'm praying, whatever, I'm talking to him, but it's just like such a one-way conversation. And I think that's a complaint that most of us have when we go to visit people at the cemetery. It's like, hey, how about a little something back? You know, how about a little, I think it's called being reciprocal. And it's just like, there's nothing coming back. But if there was like some kind of a page with them commenting or something, or like, have you seen this? It feels like a real relationship that's still happening.
Yeah, death is very selfish, and I think that's the problem, is when you go to visit somebody who has died. Sorry, those are my dogs. I think somebody broke into my house and is hurting them.
You know what, Dave, not to interrupt you, but our favorite song on this podcast is Who Let the Dogs Out, so it's actually okay.
Oh, very cool. Well, that's my favorite song ever. You know why? Because it came out in 99 and still hasn't gotten old. Very few songs do that.
Old. It never gets old.
Yeah, it's very few songs have done that. I find that that's the saddest thing about death, is that when you do go to see them, they don't care. And that's selfish to me, because you've taken time to bury them. Yeah. You've taken time, you've paid money, sometimes their money, but still, you've paid money to have a headstone made for them to let people know that their life was important. Yeah. And then you go there to let them know how you're doing, and they don't have the decency to acknowledge you. It feels like a one-way street. It feels a little painful. Like, look, hey, this whole thing isn't about me, buddy. It's about you.
Yeah, it is about you. And I'm here to honor you. And the way you repay me, to your point, is the silent treatment.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a little upsetting. I just think that with technology and all the AI that we have, it's like you could download all of this. You could download, you know, expressions and things that this person has said in their lives into an AI headstone. And then the person could be responding to you or just making posts. You know, they could just be posting stuff and you could be responding to it. And, you know, like scrolling down on someone's headstone. That's interesting. That's interesting. Oh, this article. So it's just, I think that we're wasting this technology on the living.
That's true. I also think it'd be fun if you could get some trolls in there. It would just depend on, it could be a different person talking to you every time. Like, they would have to get the sensibility of who the person is, but it would also be nice if it wasn't somebody who necessarily wanted to see you that day.
That would be something. You know, I think what you're talking about in the arts, our fans don't know anything, but it's called conflict.
Yes.
Conflict is necessary, you know what I mean, for the drama to get ratcheted up.
That's true. That's part of drama is conflict, and part of conflict is drama. Buddha said that.
Buddha did say that. And it's like, you know, we're alternating as a protagonist and an antagonist here. And as a result, there's conflict in this conversation, but that's what people are tuning in for. They want to see us rub up against each other.
They do. Ass to ass.
Okay. And things are getting sexy. And they like that friction.
To make a spark, I meant.
To make a spark.
Yeah.
It's that friction that keeps people interested. That's an excellent idea that we should pitch. I mean, I don't know if cemeteries take pitches because they're not used to Hollywood guys like us, even though you're in Detroit and I'm in an undisclosed location, which has been revealed as Austin. But it's like if we went in, okay, and the cemetery people, like, and we just started going like this, and then we just explained and pitched our idea to them. Do you think they would go for it?
I don't know. I was filming in a graveyard not too long ago, and they said that you're actually supposed to have a permit for that because you're not supposed to show headstones without permission. And I said, who am I supposed to ask? And they said the families. And I said, how am I get a hold of the families? And they said, you got to ask up here. But we had to leave. We just put our clothes on and headed back to the Jeep.
Shooting risky. You were shooting in a graveyard. Did you happen to see my career there?
It was next to mine. It was right outside of the. It was right outside of the Dodge Mausoleum, where I was trying to dig inside.
Do you want to be buried indoors, Dave? Indoor? Are you an indoor or outdoor guy as far as burials?
I kind of want to do an above ground in Louisiana, even though I'm not from Nolans. That's what they call it, I hear. Yeah. Nolans. And I kind of want to be above ground just because I could wash away at some point. But I kind of want to be cremated, to be honest with you. Or, I kind of want to be cremated and just be someone else's responsibility, or do a half and half, like bury the bottom half of my body and then cremate the top half. So people have to go to a funeral for my legs, and then they have to spread the ashes of my face and chest wherever I want.
God, I feel bad for your family, Dave, because that's a lot of work.
It is, but it would make me feel good, because then they can come and visit my legs, and then they can, spread the ashes of me wherever I want to be spread. And I would want a little bit here and a little bit there. Like, one could be in like a beach in Hawaii, or a buffet.
Okay, so you would allocate. There's a lot to unpack there. And I know I'm saying that a lot this episode, but you just come with a lot. You're saying a lot of stuff, and you move very quickly. So I have to break it down for our fans. Are you saying that each year you would request a little bit of your top half to be sprinkled in an undisclosed location? Like this year, it's going to be in Hawaii. So now your family has to take the ashes and sprinkle 3 ounces of your ashes of your top half of your torso over the ocean in Hawaii. And then the next year it's Australia, it's down under. Like it's kind of brilliant, because you're keeping in their lives. Actually, you might be ruining their lives, because it's like you're so high maintenance, even in death.
Yeah, it'll financially cripple them, really. And then, like, the very last thing, they'll have a little bit of ash left, and then they'll have to bury it with my legs.
Right,
so
but that's
they'll
have 15 years.
Yeah, but they don't know it yet. Like, that'll be the whole thing. It'll be like a treasure map. And then they'll have to dig up my legs and then sprinkle the ashes on top.
But you know what I love about that, Dave, is the slow reveal every year. Every year, different reveal. And they're like, is this finally over? And I think I'm talking about a thing that our fans know nothing about, which is closure. Your family doesn't get any closure. And it's kind of like you want it that way. It's like, hey, I'm a happening guy. I'm a mover and a shaker. I'm keeping you on your toes, even when I'm in hell, which is, I'm assuming that's where you're going because of your beliefs.
Yeah, preferably. I mean, I'd like to visit both. I don't know if that's something that St. Pete was going to let me do. But
St. Peter, the fact that you're using a familiar term with him as a devil guy, is kind of offensive to me. St. Peter, you're not friends with him.
Well, I mean, you call what is it, St. Pete, Florida, Petersburg? I figure it's it is paradise. I don't know if you've been there.
St. Pete, I haven't been.
It's where I'm going to sprinkle some ash. It's why I've looked into it.
Is that what you call it, Dave? Sprinkle some ash?
That's what I call it, yeah. So I sprinkle, spread.
It's very interesting. I still can't get over the fact that you think that hell is just one gigantic. Clear it up for our fans. You think that hell is one gigantic Halloween? Is that what you think?
Yeah, I do. That's from what I mean, I assume so. I think it's a lot of people in costumes. There's trick-or-treating. Mm-hmm. And I think there's different layers of it, different rings of hell.
Right.
Like the first ring is people who I don't know, like maybe they say envelope. And then it goes down to say Second ring is probably somebody like Hitler. And then it gets worse from there.
Right.
This smoke break is brought to you by YoDelta.com, the official Getting High sponsor of the Gas Digital Network.
Wow. It was a deep dive. And I say that because there's sharks everywhere in your apartment. You're going through a nasty shark phase.
Yes, land sharks, homeless.
Sharks. It's interesting because my uncle was a loan shark.
Oh, I had one of those.
So I don't know if it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same, but maybe a little bit different. You're in Detroit right now, and you have a family, and you've said that, and you've stood behind it. You haven't backed down from that at all, even though you don't like to spend a ton of time with them because you go to Texas on business. I hope your wife's not watching. Business.
Right.
Where you conduct your business.
Yes.
But you come back to Detroit, the abandoned buildings, something? What?
Well, there's abandoned buildings, yes. There's also some buildings with people in them, but there's mostly abandoned buildings.
Right. People don't want to.
No. It's you're kind of stuck here.
Yes, but not you. Not you.
No,
You were able to get out, but you decided unselfishly to leave your family there?
Yes, I've decided to leave them here because the cost of living is lower, and then I can go live somewhere else from time to time where I can live a more grand life and send postcards of all the good things that I'm doing.
Do you have another set of wife and kids in Texas, Dave? Just be honest with the listeners.
Oh, yeah, we've discussed that. Not just Texas. I have them
all over the country.
Over. Oh,
all over the country?
World, I'd say. But yeah, country.
Wow. Sometimes do you get tired of drinking clean water, so you just take a trip to Flint?
Correct.
Does it get annoying drinking clean water sometimes?
It does. And sometimes you say, you know what? Put a little, I think lead puts a little bit of hair on your chest. I've always said that.
You've always have said that.
It's one of my catchphrases. It puts a little bit of hair on your chest. It also causes stillborns.
Wow. Dave, that's hard to hear. That's hard to hear, but I'm not going to argue with science.
I don't argue with the science. As long as you're wearing a mask when you drink it, you're fine. That's what they told everyone there.
Okay. That actually does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's like a filtration system.
A filtration system.
I think.
I think that too. What's going on in your life right now, Dave?
Mainly just.
Are you doing? You're on the road.
On the road.
What are some cool places that you've been? Our fans are relegated to their homes. Many of them are shut-ins. Yeah. And they want to hear about they don't just want to hear about our ideas about transforming cemeteries into AI communication centers, which I think is a brilliant idea, by the way.
I do too.
The fact that you would put your family, in debt by having to sprinkle your ashes in different locations every year in order, I would assume that you would attach your will to it. So they get a certain amount of money. They're not getting all the money at once like normal people would do. And those normal people get forgotten, by the way. But each time they go to sprinkle your ashes in another location, you release a little bit more of the money to them. So they have that fix. They get that taste for that financial reward. And that's what keeps them spreading your ashes and thus keeping your name alive. You don't need a bridge or a building or a library. You're doing it in a very grassroots way.
Yeah, well, have you ever spread ash?
No.
Okay. It's pretty rewarding when done on purpose.
Yeah.
I've spread ash on accident and on purpose. And on purpose, it's very fulfilling.
What do you say before you throw ashes? Do you say goodbye? Is there a prayer involved?
I usually just grab anything out of the Quran.
Okay. I think it's the Quran. Is it the Quran?
Oh, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right then. I hope it sends them to the right place.
Yes. Where have you been that's exciting? Dazzle us, Dave. Dazzle us.
Oh gosh,
With
probably like some
travel.
pretty exciting places.
Where have
Albany,
you
New
been?
York, Dayton, Ohio.
Wait a second. You were in New York?
No, I was just in New York City. I was actually.
Oh, very cool. Where did you
Yeah.
go?
I had
To
some
the five
pizza.
boroughs.
I was just in Manhattan. That's usually where I go. I'll go to the Little Fox building there and do some shows, and then
Okay.
I did the new what's that show with Bobby Kelly and Big J, The Bonfire.
Bonfire is great.
I enjoy that show very much.
Really, I do too.
So I did that. I was just there. I did that, and then I went back to my little hotel room, and I did what I always do. I cried.
But you know what? I mean, people in this masculine society that we live in would frown on you for that. But doesn't that, it just helps, doesn't it? It gets it out, the endorphins.
It does. I was crying because of all the needles I had stepped on, but it does help.
Dave, are you taking a shot at New York?
No, I just, well, they kind of took several shots into my foot.
It's the city that never sleeps, Dave. And that comment did not, it hit home. I realize what you said, and you're very fast, and it's just like, it's the city that never sleeps. And if there needs to be needles on the ground to wake you up a little bit, to keep you in the present moment, then I'm not going to apologize for that.
There's a lot of people shouting at night. That's true. I used to live in Harlem,
Right.
and that was a very loud area. That
Are
was.
you familiar?
Dominican.
I don't want to cut you off. I lived with the Dominicans also.
Good
and
people.
I learned to love baseball and
Yes.
fried bananas. Didn't know
I agree.
I knew baseball. I didn't know you could play it all year round on every field, all the time, every hour. And then the fried bananas, I mean, delish.
Yeah, you can actually eat fried banana while watching a good game of baseball played with a stick in the street that's uphill.
It's unbelievable.
It's true.
So, what was I going to say about New York? I was going to make another statement, and here it is. The Pizza Rat. Were you in New York during our Pizza Rat times? I don't know if you read the New York Post the way that I do, but the Pizza Rat, do you know what it is, and what are your thoughts?
I was not there for Pizza Rat. I was there for Hot Dog Possum. But Pizza Rat, I was not. I had only seen on the news.
Hot Dog Possum. Hot Dog Possum is a spinoff of Pizza Rat. Talk to me about it.
He was the one that was stealing hot dogs. It was a possum that kept going into my apartment and taking my hot dogs.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in New York.
It was a Dominican baseball player that lived in my building who kept coming into my apartment and taking my hot dogs. And I thought it was a possum.
Okay.
He was dressed as a possum.
Halloween?
No. This happened for a solid year, and I'm afraid of possums, and I think he knew that because I told him one day when we were out there doing the stickball while I was eating a banana, and he said, "What's your biggest fear?" And I said, "Possums." And, it's my fault, though. I kept buying hot dogs.
You keep asking for trouble. Is it a plantain, Shannon? Is that what it is? It's a banana it's a banana. It's like a sweet banana.
Yes.
Yeah, smaller.
It's unbelievable. It's different than a banana.
It's smaller. I like them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get them at like a Brazilian steakhouse.
It's unreal. I do love it. I think they're very sweet, though. I think they add sugar to a banana, which already has a lot of sugar in it.
I hear fruit has a lot of sugar.
Fruit does have a lot of sugar. That's a warning. I tell people as a warning. Fruit has a lot of sugar, but so does chocolate, and so do the other things that we eat.
Have you given up anything for Lent? I mean, not to interview you. I'm just wondering, like what's been your...
Good at turning the tables. I was trying to find out what your locations were, but I'm already... Here's what I'm doing. I'm gave up sugar, and I gave up... I've been fasting.
Okay. For how many days do you fast?
I always do a 16-8, which is just a 12 and a 6 meal, a 12 o'clock meal and a 6 o'clock meal. And but I'll tell you what makes it so much easier is the sugar, because the sugar addicts you. So I was having trouble like doing those fasting. I was getting so hungry. And the reason I realized I was getting hungry is because I was eating whatever I wanted during those 2 meals. You can't do that. If you table the sugar and just eat meat and vegetables, then it's easier to fast. It's easier to fast because you're not a slave to the sugar. Sugar is one of the most addictive things. I'll shout it from the mountaintops here. It's one of the most addictive things, and it can really ruin your life.
That's what I've been told. I ate 8 chips Ahoy just before. What?
Have I convinced you to lay off sugar? Not that you need to. You look great. A lot of our fans are turned on by you.
Some aren't. I understand. I think we both know that I could lose a couple lbs, but
well, any baseball shark people are. I'll tell you that much right now.
Well, I'll tell you this. Yeah, I think I could give up some sugar. I do have a bit of an addiction for it.
So when you go back to Detroit, like you were in New York, when you go back to Detroit, is that when you let loose, or are you more disciplined in Detroit?
No, I equally don't care.
It doesn't matter.
No, I should care more, but I don't.
What you're drinking would seem like water, but in light of this conversation, is it bacon grease like everybody thinks?
It's not all bacon grease. It's diluted.
Okay.
There's olive oil in there as well.
Oh my God. Is that because you're half Italian, Dave?
Yes, it's actually what keeps the shine in my face. My doctor told me that if everybody wants to see that I'm a little Dago, I should make sure to drink olive oil at least once a day.
A little Dago.
A little Dago.
I think you just named my next special.
A little Dago.
A little Dago. I love it. I love what you bring to the table, Dave. And
I like to name specials.
I mean, we're getting a lot of good work done here. That cemetery thing alone, cemetery alone is a Shark Tank idea.
I say let's do it. I'm sure they're going to say this is a great idea to bring AI to graveyards.
You have to pitch. We have to pitch the show. Imagine pitching to a cemetery.
Imagine doing this still. Do people still do this on film sets? Just
and then we would have to liven them up. Be like, come on, everybody. We have to do crowd work to get them on board with our idea.
We have to do warm up for sure.
We'd have to do crowd work and get them like involved, and maybe tape it, maybe put it online, maybe get some views.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
It's a great idea.
I don't know where to start.
After New York, you went to Dayton.
No, where was I? Okay, we'll go Dayton. Sorry.
Okay, so
where was I? North Carolina. I was in North Carolina.
Now I'm a fan of North Carolina. I'm a fan, haven't been there that many times. But you went from New York, where everybody is pompous and just talks down to you and everything. And then you went to North Carolina, and it's just good country folk.
A lot of New Yorkers. But
is it in North Carolina? Because they get tired of it. They get tired of all the people talking down to them and stuff, and the pizza rat, and he's getting more play than they are, and he's a star, and he's eating their pizza, and he's living in the subway rent free. And it's like people get frustrated, Dave.
They do. Really, the most of the conversations I had in North Carolina were about the pizza rat taking their jobs. It's become a very serious problem, and they were upset, and I don't blame them. Look, if you move to New York to be a star, at least on Broadway, and Pizza Rat's stealing all your jobs, because I think he's in at least 3 plays now. One's with Samuel L. I forget the name of it, but if you see like Pizza Rat's, and he's singing in the Temptations play and all that, it's got to be heartbreaking for somebody who's just graduated Juilliard.
But everybody has to stay focused on their own career. Is that the pizza rat's fault for living his or her best life. And it's just like, how about we all stay focused and you stay off social media where the Pizza Rat has a lot of, I'm sure, content. And the Pizza Rat is off Broadway, I think. And yeah, the musical, The Pizza Rat.
But like, is it similar to dwarves? Like, isn't Peter Dinklage sort of the Pizza Rat of dwarves, where he's getting all the work?
Maybe. I mean, maybe these people should have like stayed in the pocket and worked harder, not to get outdone by a Pizza Rat.
Well, I guess that's true, but you
Is
try
that
to
fair
not
that
get
the
out.
Pizza Rat is living rent free in the subways?
No, especially because I mean, a Pizza Rat probably could sell out a comedy club today.
With the right video footage, yeah, with the right clips.
Yeah, I think it's disheartening. So a lot of people say, look, I came here to follow a dream, and instead of continuing to follow their dream, they use Pizza Rat as an excuse.
Yes.
And they give up and they move somewhere else. And
Thank you for taking some responsibility, Dave. I wasn't sure which way you were going to go with it. I didn't think you were going to play the victim card because that's not you. And you finally owned it right there. And our fans need to know that you're going to own it. And you said half the conversation was about Pizza Rat to the people in North Carolina were talking to you. And the other half of the conversation was about what, the crops?
Mostly the crops. And the possibility of Trump's arrest was the other part, because they're all diehard. I don't know if you know this about North Carolina. They all wear MAGA hats.
Do they really?
Yeah, every person there, yeah.
And do they know what an arraignment is?
I think they do, but
you know what an arraignment is?
Do I?
I kind of see, Dave, I don't know what a lot of words mean, but I know what context clues are. I use my context clues because I'm an investigator. It's not an accident. I have this podcast. I have a degree in criminal justice that was not being used, and now I'm applying it.
I do know what an arraignment is to a degree. I've been in one or two, but I've also been in an arrangement, and I tend to confuse the two.
Is that what your marriage is?
Yes, it is.
That's what you call
it? Well, it was arranged.
Well, when you go on the road and women hit on you and you go, "Are you married?" because they see your ring, and you go, "We have an arrangement."
Yes.
So is that what you say?
I say it was arranged, and we traded a dowry.
Ooh.
And they go, what's a dowry? And I go, we traded 3 pigs, and just like you. And they walk away, and I go, yeah. And then they always come back.
They always come back for more.
Yeah. Women Love Abuse is the name of my new book.
I think what you're trying to say, Dave, because you're from Detroit and rough around the edges, I think we can replace the phrase abuse, which will get us canceled, with a challenge.
Okay, Women Are Challenged will be the name of my new book.
Women, can we say it this way, Dave? Women challenge us, not women are challenged, or, we should abuse women. How about we take that and we flip it and we go, women challenge us. And as a result, we become what, Dave? Better.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we just came out of March, which was Women's Awareness, and I took that from it. And now I'm sharing it with you to try to dissipate some of the toxic masculinity and the shark hunting and the masculine thing and the ball caps and the ball games and some of this stuff, try to offset a little bit of it.
In push-ups, I do a lot.
You do a lot of push-ups
all day.
But that, do you think that that increases your testosterone? And that could be part of the issue, Dave?
Could be, yeah. I do. I probably does give a good. Well, I don't know, but probably. I mean, I probably do 17, 18 a day.
18 push-ups a day?
a day.
I mean, you've given me something to shoot for.
My bones make a snapping noise. I don't know if you're familiar, like a pop.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on my sixth one, it starts like a pop.
I'll tell you, I'll go one better than that. I have trouble getting up from the airplane seat after even a short flight. I have trouble getting up. I'm walking like I baby giraffe off the plane with my bags, like I'm a crippled person because my back tightens up.
Yeah, I noticed that I need to now grab the seat in front of me to get myself up, and I don't feel good about that. And the other day, a smaller woman helped me with my luggage out of whatever you call it, the stowaway area is what I call it.
And those bags can shift, Dave. Those bags can shift during flight, and you need to be careful.
They can. You open that thing after a good shift, you could kill someone.
Yes, you could. Imagine that you make the flight. You know, the flight lands. There's a lot of technical stuff involved to keep everybody safe from a plane crash.
Yep.
And then you die on the ground because your carry-on has shifted in the subway.
Yeah, because somebody decided to overstuff a 22-inch rollerboard. Now your nose is mashed into your brain.
Right.
Yeah. Or maybe it was a stampede because people don't want to wait.
No, they don't want to wait.
No, they want to run up from the back of the plane to the front because they don't understand what common courtesy is.
That's a pet peeve. I really get furious about that.
I actually really do. It's very upsetting. I block people. I will block people in the aisle.
I started doing that too. I started just like sitting there, just getting my stuff out, and then them just like bumping into me. I'm like, just no, like what? We're here. You're not going. I like it. Unless they go, I have to make a flight. Then I let them go.
I understand.
All compassion and well wishes.
Yes, if I understand, you have to make a flight. I'm out of your way. Right. But when you're doing it just to do it, like I know we're landing at 1:30 a.m. You're not going to another flight.
Right.
I am going to stand in your way, and you're not getting by me.
God, that's really great. I have a lot of respect for that.
I do too.
You know what else, Dave? Because I know that you have a family, and this puts me at a little bit of a disadvantage. But because you put your bag in the overhead compartment, and they go, please, if you have a smaller carry-on or personal item, put it under the seat. And if you're wearing a coat, please just hold it on your lap. And I feel like that's a bit much because now I have a coat on my lap. You know what I do? Because I don't have a family, I pretend it's my son.
I like that.
I pretend I have a son and he's on my lap and I'm raising him.
I like that.
I prepare you for a family. Dave, if I ever get the chance to have a family, do you think that that's good? Like positive visualization? That's my son. That's my son.
I think it's a very good thing because it teaches you to hold on to something in case there's a crash. You know, you don't brace yourself. You'll just save your coat.
Well, it's saving my coat, but in my mind, if I'm doing visualization the right way, it's my son.
Exactly. No, I what I like to do is I like to stuff my coat into the overhead compartment. And then when the flight attendant says, whose coat is this? We seriously need to fit other people's luggage. I just act like I've never seen that coat before. And then once everybody's like, done, she just leaves it. And then I take it. And if she says, I was asking whose coat that was, I say, no habla inglés, real loud like that.
Well, Dave, this is interesting because using the analogy as the coat as your son and you leaving it there, is that your parenting style? Take no responsibility until the kid's old enough to like fend for himself? Is that your parenting style? Is that a window into your parenting style?
No, I'm pretty good.
A window seat?
I give them the aisle. I'm not going to go chase you around, but I'll let you go explore, but let's just hope you come back in one piece. Yeah.
Now, Dave, I did a test on you just now.
Okay.
I'll tell you what it is. I told you that if I kept my coat on my in my lap during the flight, that it was my son. And I wanted to gauge your response, and I did. And you went into a thing about how you stash your coat, you don't take responsibility, which is a window into your parenting style. That's the way I took it. But I was waiting for you to say, I said that I kept my coat on my lap and I pretend it's my son, positive visualization. I was waiting for you to say, or daughter. And you didn't say it, Dave. Why?
Oh, because if it's your daughter, I don't think you want to keep it on your lap. They cry more.
Daughters are criers.
Yeah, you want to have, I would hope that if you do have a kid, you're in a relationship where the woman's with you.
Yes.
Unless she died giving birth. Otherwise, there's no excuse. Right. And she should be holding the female baby.
Wow. We came full circle here, Dave. I'm just trying to visualize having a kid, and you were like, no, you need a intact family. You need to start visualizing a partner. You need to start visualizing her also co-parenting. Is co-parenting a real thing? Is that a slap in the face to you as just a regular parent? And I step in and I go, I'm co-parenting. I'm co-parenting. Do you feel challenged? Do you feel like I'm overshadowing you with my new age language? You're doing such an old school thing of just parenting. And I come along and I go, co-parenting, boom.
Yeah, I like co-parenting because you've made it more about you and the new age thing you're doing than the child.
I like co-parenting because I feel like what you're doing is like a sacred thing of raising a family. And I like it because it feels like shift work.
Yeah, I feel like you get to divide it, and it's more like what's fun is you're both giving the kid too much time on their iPad and then not telling the other one.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great way to raise a shooter.
It's a great way, I would say, to keep secrets.
Yes.
Because in a family like what you're doing, it's like you kind of have to disclose everything, which is just problematic.
Yeah, because you want to keep most stuff a secret.
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah, you don't want to be some open book that your whole family gets to read all the time. Look, some things are for dad. That's why daddy leaves in his van at, midnight, and he'll be home at 7 a.m. and he has to wash his clothes and shower.
You nailed it, Dave.
Yep.
Shannon, can we go to how much time are we in, Shannon? I've lost track of time here.
51 minutes.
Okay, let's do some plugs and then final salutations as we are on a time. And I respected the time, Shannon. Like you said, I wouldn't.
You're doing great.
Okay.
I'm trying. I'm sorry if I'm eating shit. I'm very tired.
You're the best.
Thank you.
Guys, let's do some plugs right now. I'm Mike Vecchione. Obviously, it's the reason why, at least part of the reason you guys are watching this podcast. Shannon, Natalie, and our guests also are a good reason. Please follow me on all social media platforms if you haven't already, at Comic Mike V. My special is out, The Attractives, on YouTube. Please watch it, like it, and comment, and share it. Please share. It's easily shareable, and that's why I love YouTube, and I love that we did it on YouTube. Hats off to Nate Land and all the support from Nate and 800-Pound Gorilla. And it's a very good special. Feedback has been wonderful. Numbers are up. Please like it and share it. MikeVecchione.com for dates. I'll be at Moon Tower in Austin I don't know when this comes out, but I will be there. Moon Tower in Austin at the end of April. When is it, Shannon? Can you look it up? Moon Tower in Austin. So look for me there. Like and subscribe to the podcast. The new premiere Wednesday, 6 p.m. You guys have been great about showing up and commenting. So thank you. I love you. Dave, what do you got?
You can check out my special at aprison10.com. You can put TEN or 10. I have both, so it's aprison10.com. Or go to davelandau.com for upcoming tour dates. I have them. I guess I'll be in Bricktown in Oklahoma City at the end of the month. Yeah, something like that.
Go to Dave's. Dave, what is it again?
Aprison10.com, and I have a new sketch podcast show coming out that got picked up, but I can't say where yet, but I'll be announcing it soon.
Check out Dave Landau, one of the funniest guys. Check him out. You can see from this podcast, he's hilarious. Shannon, what do you got?
So by the way, it seems like your site is having maintenance right now, Mike, so I couldn't pull it up, but Moon Tower is the 12th to the 23rd as a whole.
Okay. It's that Wednesday. What's that Wednesday? The 15th?
Let's see. The
15th to the 23rd.
Wednesday is the 12th or the 19th?
It must be the 19th.
Okay.
I'm from there from Wednesday to Saturday, March 19th to March 23rd, Moon Tower in Austin. Shannon, what do you got?
Okay. You can follow me on Instagram at Shannon Lee 6982. Listen to my podcast, The Thing Is Ding. We talk about bad dates, fighting, and ghosts. And watch Mike's special. I feel like that's the most important part. I watched it multiple times. I shared it. I commented. I liked it. I made family members watch it.
Shannon, you're the best.
It's great.
It's really funny.
It's so good.
But thank you for forcing people against their will to watch it, Shannon. That's the part I love the best.
It's just like, because like we're hanging out and it's like we're talking. I was like, oh, let's like take a little break so you can watch some of this. And then I made them watch the whole thing and I showed you evidence of it.
That's right. You did. You sent me a pic.
Yes. And then also if you're a listener of this show, which obviously you are, you can watch it live for free every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern at gasdigitalnetwork.com/live. That's free. If you listen on iTunes or YouTube, make sure to rate, review, tell a friend, leave a comment, subscribe. All those little bits of interaction help. Go to podcastmerch.com for t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs. And if you have questions, comments, or your own video investigation to submit, send it into MikeVecchioneInvestigates at gmail.com.
Thank you. And could you tell Natalie we miss her?
Yeah. She's in the lounge right now. I will tell her.
She's in the lounge probably vaping because
Yes.
she's 22 years old.
Yep.
Okay. Dave, before I let you go, it was Satanism. It was now sharks. The next time that we get together, do you have any idea what it might be?
Oh boy, I might be back into my rap phase. I used to go under the name Big Cook, where I dressed as Cookie Monster and I would rap.
No kidding.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
Is it even good do you have a low carb character that you do?
I do. It's Lil Cook.
Lil Cook.
Yes, he eats less cookies.
But is it what I'm asking is a gluten-free option for a lot of our fans?
That'd be Glute Cook.
Okay.
Yeah, he has an irritable bowel.
Okay. That's good to have a backstory for these characters, Dave.
It is. Well, the backstory is very real.
Well, that's good because if you were pitching it to me, and we're doing a lot of pitching ideas, I would say go back and flesh out the characters. Flesh out the characters.
Yes, flushing as well. Really, because gluten can be a messy situation.
It can be messy. And that's why I said it, because it's about alternatives for our fans.
Yeah, I think people need to take a good, healthy look at themselves and realize that maybe gluten's not for them.
Gluten's not for them. And you need, a multitude of characters in order to be accessible, not just to the gluten people, but to the gluten-free people and to the other people with other dietary restrictions. Because, it's Cookie Monster, but what's a gluten-free monster? What's, somebody who's a vegan? Like, they need a monster too. It's like, we have to dial up some of these characters for everyone.
Yeah, you can have nut butters all day, but what about nutless butters? What about dairy-free butter? There's a lot of options out there, but everybody should be allowed to have what they need for their digestive system.
Right. Soy monster
right there.
Right.
Yeah. You're my spirit animal.
Well, I'm just thinking I'm an idea guy like you. And I think when we get going with ideas, nothing's out of bounds. Nothing's out of bounds. Dave, I can't thank you enough. I know you're busy. Thank you for being here. My fans appreciate it. They love you. They love it when you're on.
And thank you for having me.
I'm looking forward to the next theme that you're temporarily addicted to. I'm really looking forward to it.
I appreciate it. I hope it's something interesting.
I can't wait. For Shannon, for Dave, I'm Mike Vecchione, and for Natalie, who is on, I guess, sabbatical right now in the lounge. This has been Mike Vecchione Investigates. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, we'll see you next week.